coming up on Agweektv. Unmanned aerial systems may be the next big thing on farms. Find out what it takes to get there. A lot of fast talkers came together in one place for a contest. We'll take you to the sights and sounds and find out who was the best of them all. But first, it's time to get serious about making some big decisions on the farm. Hello and welcome to Agweektv. I'm Shauna Olson. Some of the deadlines for decisions related to the new farm bill are fast approaching. Reporter Tracy Frank joins us to talk about the issue. Tracy?
Landowners and producers must decide whether to reallocate base acres and update payment yields. NDSU Extension Specialist Andy Swenson says everyone should attempt to update yields. The updated yield is 90% of the average yield on each farm from 2008 to 2012. Yields are updated crop by crop. Landowners have until the 27th of this month to decide whether to keep or reallocate their base acreage. And while Swenson says most farms will reallocate, not all will benefit from it.
You have to determine, well, what's going to provide me the best safety net? This existing base or this reallocating base, and then you really have to go into each crop that you may have base, if you reallocated or had kept your base, try to evaluate what type of support that's going to provide me over the next 5 years of the farm bill. And that answer is really dependent on what you think prices will be over the next 5 years, and it's very difficult to project prices.
Swenson says canola and corn look good, but soybeans and wheat likely won't provide as much support. Once farmers reallocate their base acreage, they are locked in, likely for 5 years, and that has some folks worried about whether they'll make the right decision.
Experts say farmers need to conserve cash and cut costs. This was the message at a recent meeting in Fargo. The advice farmers received isn't necessarily news they wanted to hear. Ag economics experts say it's time to tighten belts and push pencils because we're facing tighter margins and seeing grim grain market outlooks.
I started farming in 1979, so this is getting to be a real sobering thing because if you remember what the grain markets were like through the 80s, we had grain reserve programs. Why were they put in place? Because the markets got so poor and a lot of people just couldn't make it on what the grain prices were. I see a lot of this history repeating itself.
Well, the first take home is to have a plan and put a plan together that you can stick with during the volatility of the market. The second take home was to take advantage of the volatility of the market because we might be moving into an era of 1 or 2 years where we have low volatility and prices just stay really stagnant. So if you can get sales made now while the markets are jumping around, that's a good idea.
Experts say once you put a plan together, stick with it and make sure your bank is behind you. South Dakota livestock industry has seen steady growth in the past decade. Walt Bones is a key figure in that expansion. He served as South Dakota Ag Secretary from 2011 to 13 when the state was pushing for expansion. Dairy has gone up 25,000 cows in expansions and new operations in the past 2 years.
Really, there probably should be an East Dakota and a West Dakota. You've heard that before, I'm sure. But, probably have a whole lot more in common.
In North Dakota, officials want to loosen anti-corporate farming laws to mirror South Dakota's. Up next on Agweektv. Some fast-talking professionals head to the competition stage.
Agweektv, presented by Peterson Farm Seed.
Auctioneering is an occupation where you need a fast tongue and a quick mind. Some of the best in the tri-state area were in Fargo for the North Dakota Auctioneer Association Auctioneer Contest. Agweektv photojournalist Trevor Peterson was there.
Ladies and gentlemen, all right, here we go. Let's have some fun tonight. There's a lot of us and we have different unique styles.
Now 55, now 60.
Hey, so we get down there. Let's have some fun. Give me $200 to go.
It's a little nerve-wracking being in front of all of your
peers. It's a little bit tougher than an average Saturday afternoon farm sale.
Once you start competing in these contests, it's in your blood.
The winner is going to be the guy that gets all of his butterflies flying the same direction.
I got 10 now, 15, 15 now, 20 now, 25.
The grading system is just somebody's opinion and doesn't mean much, but of course if you win, it means everything then.
And it catches the big walleyes. 8600, yeah. 30, 30, now 35, now 40, new fire.
There's a lot of things that make a good auctioneer. Being confident,
Voice clarity,
a good clear chant,
smooth, steady chant.
presence, knowing your product.
Each time it strikes on the hour, it makes a different Mustang sound. 10,000-pound ratchet straps. So ladies, if you need something to hold the husband down to get him home tonight, here's your chance. 85 on the right side, 100 out 10.
I always tell people just because you don't win, it doesn't mean you're a bad auctioneer.
5,000 money's on 6, 500 on 6, on 6, 7, 6,007 now we.
Keep a smile on your face and have fun with it.
All right, how many numbers under there? You able to find the 25?
We're kind of looking for a real well-rounded person.
And I have sold it $525. Sold it $32.50. Sold it $70. Sold $35. Sold it. Sold it. Sold it $210. Sold it. Sold it. You're right there. $20. I sold it to you. $40. All in, all done. Sold out right over here.
Cody Osnes from Dalton, Minnesota was this year's champion. Congrats to him. North Dakota Soybean Council is gearing up for the Northern Soybean Expo. The expo is Tuesday, the 17th at the Fargo Holiday Inn. The day starts out with registration and breakfast with the Carrington researchers sharing ideas about the upcoming planting season. Speakers include economist Todd Buchholz, and ecologist Dr. Patrick Moore, and North Dakota native Jerry Gulke will talk about the markets.
We had a record number last year. We had about 325, and we're hoping for 350 or more this year. Hopefully the weather will be good for us and we'll have a wonderful turnout. I think it's because we try to bring in a lineup of speakers that not a lot of people will have heard or had the opportunity to hear in the last couple of years. Yeah. And we also have a trade show going on, which is a big fundraiser for the North Dakota Soybean Growers Association with about 43 vendors.
Beetle Spocker says the day is a great time to network with other soybean producers. She says soybeans are grown in almost every county of the state now.
We had close to 6 million acres of soybeans planted and about 5.8 actually harvested. So it's a record, and we have close to 10,000 soybean producers now in the state. So when you look back to about 20 years ago, we only had 500,000 acres planted primarily in eastern North Dakota. And to go from that to 6 million is truly phenomenal.
Beetlesbacher credits the checkoff dollars for the expansion. She says the research has helped bring in better traits with more weather-resistant soybeans. Up next on Ag Week TV, meteorologist John Wheeler gives us a look at agri-weather. And looking to fly the latest trend, one local company gives producers the chance to check them out and learn more about what they can do.
Ag Week TV Tech, brought to you by New Seed.
Fewer than 5% of farms nationwide have UAVs right now, but according to one expert, that's going to change. UAVs can be a huge benefit to the ag community, and it has sparked a lot of interest in growers.
One of the things that I like.
Peterson Farm Seed invited several growers to get a look at the wave of the future. Agronomist Adam Spellhaug says there's a lot of interest in the new trend of unmanned aerial systems.
Farmers are looking for better ways to save money on their farm, make applications of nitrogen seed more efficient, and I think UAVs could be another tool to put into the workshop, if you want, in the future.
Most recently,
Chad Colby from Illinois led the presentation. He's an expert in the field and a nationally known leader in the industry. He says when it comes to UAVs, the sky is the limit.
I think when you talk about the technology, what's really amazing is truly how fast it's coming. Most people don't understand in April that the tablet or iPads are just 5 years old. And I think when you start to think about that fact, I think the rapid use of unmanned will even feel faster than that over the next 2 or 3 years, especially really in agriculture.
that's where it's at right now.
Colby says it's only a matter of time until UAVs are allowed to be used commercially.
You can go through a exemption right now to go through that, and there are companies that are doing so. But for the most part, right now, it's, you know, we're flying as a hobby. This is just fun. We're just flying around. We're learning the systems. We can't do any of it for hire. We can't make any decisions with anything we see. But at least we're learning, and that's really what's going on right now.
Colby says the FAA is getting closer to putting together some policies so UAVs can be used in commercial application. He says the equipment can offer big benefits to producers, like getting a bird's eye view of a field, being able to make timely decisions, data collection, and monitoring plant and animal health. He says the UAV can save a lot of time, money, and manpower, and can help the environment.
The future is going to be, we have to raise more yield, produce more crops with less input. That means less fertilizer, less chemicals. We've already been doing that the last 20 years, but this is to go to the next level. If we have the capability to fly over a field, determine maybe what specific area of the field has some weeds growing, and then go out and apply a chemical to that specific location instead of just the whole field, that's a big deal.
He gave producers the lowdown on the rules and safety. They also got a chance to give it a try.
And I can't stress to you, the most important thing is safe operation of these. The hobby guidelines are very specific on what you can do with these right now. Under 400 feet, clear of personnel, you have to keep the machine within your sight.
Colby says you can purchase a ship for well under $4,000. He says they're getting cheaper all the time and the technology is improving. Up next on Agweektv, we'll introduce you to 2 horse trainers and find out what the local trends are.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ultimate Spray.
Raising and training horses is an interesting and rewarding business. At the most recent West Fargo horse auction, we caught up with a couple of horse trainers who know the business well.
Right here, here's the papers, everything is here, guys. This horse here is out of the Zan Blooming Legend, once again, by the Zipple chocolate chip, back to the Zipple fine bar on the top, back to adjusted make.
Are you here today buying or selling?
Well, both, but I got 2 here for right now selling, and if something comes along and catches my eye, I'll bid on it. Kind of buy horses, you know, and take them home, tune them up, and resell them. And a lot of times problem horses, sometimes they're just green and just need a job.
You're a trainer, so you know how to fix those things.
Yes. There's some horses that just need a little longer than others, but yeah, almost all horses are fixable. I like taking a horse from either a bronc or just a no-riding son of a gun and making it at the end of a product at the end of the day or a month or whatever.
That's the best he's ever looked.
There's some horses that are worth $500 and there's some horses that are worth $5,000. So it's just kind of whatever you want to, you know, whatever the value of the horse you think it is, and you go from there.
We moved a bunch of cattle with this horse last weekend. He's just an all-around good broke horse that push cattle. You can rope off him. You do anything you want.
Horses are good, great for everybody, and I think everybody should have one. I think it's a business that helps kids. I think it's a good deal. It helps a lot of self-esteem and stuff like that. Hey, where's that horse quick?
Just kind of meeting a few different people here today. Sold one horse privately to people in Devil's Lake. I grew up going to a lot of horse sales. There, you know, back in the mid-'90s and even later '90s, there was a lot more horse sales throughout the country that would have a monthly horse sale, and there just ain't as many. It's kind of gotten to be more of a specialized catalog type of horse sale market. Mainly buy and sell cow horses, prospects as far as rope horses, barrel horses, and mainly sorting and penning horses is where I make most of my business.
What's your favorite thing to do when you're riding?
Probably the team penning and team sorting. Just anything to do with the cow is pretty much something I like to do. The good horses are high. The ones that have a job or profession that people want to go use on a daily basis or go to an event, they're hard to find.
And when you say high, what do you mean?
You know, depending on age and pedigree and confirmation, 3,500 and up. Most of the horses that you know, you want to go really compete on her, you're looking 5,000 and up.
And the horses that don't have a job, they go pretty cheap.
Yeah, there's a lot more of them in the country that ain't broke to ride than there are people that can ride them. And until we clean up some more of these people that are just breeding them for no reason, there's going to still be a surplus of unwanted horses. No rhyme or reason, some of these people don't really have much of a plan of a breeding program, and they start with 6 horses, and 5 years later they're up to 30. They're the ones that are telling everybody horses aren't worth nothing, and at the same time, the better prospects, if you've got a good 2, 3, 4-year-old colored gelding or even mare that's got some pedigree and some confirmation, they fetch a good price.
What are you seeing here today? Anything standing out at all?
There was a few little horses that, that want to spend a little time riding and maybe put a little feed behind. And if you're just looking for a fall trail horse or farm horse, there's something here probably for you.
The next horse sale at Central Livestock will be held this spring. Now we'll check in with Lisa Gibson, Ag Week magazine editor, and find out what's coming up in tomorrow's edition. Lisa.
We've been working on a lot of news stories here at Ag Week. Tomorrow's issue will have even more details on the region's dairy industry, as well as prevented plant policies, USDA's 10-year projections for ag, and much more. We'll also have more information on the upcoming International Crop Expo. If you plan to be there, stop by our booth and meet the team. And don't forget to subscribe at agweek.com.
The International Crop Expo is set for the 18th and 19th of this month. It'll be held at the Alaris Center in Grand Forks and is expected to bring in about 5,000 people with about 175 exhibits. It opens at 9 on both days. On Wednesday, we'd like to invite you to our Ag Week TV launch party from 6 to 9 p.m. The event will be held on the second floor, complete with music and appetizers. We sure hope you stop by and say hello. Thanks for joining us this week. For more ag news, go to agweek.com. Hope to see you at the Ag Week TV launch party this week.